Good afternoon, YouTube. Something interesting was brought to my attention. It was a comment that Allie screamed at Candace during a parade. She screamed, "Ha ha, they got your child." So I initially just took that and ran and made it a video previous to this, and it was out of my character, so no one will see it. To me, kind of at this point, it doesn't matter what Allie says, or rather has said, when you when you follow it up with something like, "Hey, haha, they got your kid." Now, when I asked myself, haha, they got your kid, to me, they, in that scenario, they sounds like she's describing someone that they both know. Like, they would be the police. They would be CPS, for instance, right? I'm just correlating the word they to people that are familiar to two parties. That's a good way to say it. So she says, haha, they got your kids. To me, what that actually, what that boils down to is that I believe Allie has a hunch. I believe that if Allie ever told you, I mean, it's not like Allie lives in Oregon, right? She lives right there. She knows all the same people, right? So if Allie ever were to tell someone she didn't have a theory or an inkling or whatever, she's a liar. So also based upon proximity of, where they live by each other, it's very safe to say, in my opinion, that Allie has a hunch, or she may even know. Let's also bring into account that they've kept H's phone far longer than they kept anybody else's, right? What's up with that? Well, to be fair, potentially he had way more data in his phone that they needed to comb through. That's a nice way of saying it. I don't think that's it. I don't think that boy had such a sophisticated phone that could hold all that shit that would warrant keeping his phone longer. So really shame on Allie. Again, that is the most distasteful thing I think someone could say to someone else, period, in life. Not just in life, but right when the tragedy is fresh, right? Let me tell you this. It's not like, imagine this. Imagine if someone came to you and said, "Oh yeah, Robin, the Sunday school teacher gal, whatever she is, she said, ha ha, they got your kids," to Candace at the parade. You'd have to stop. And you'd have to really play that out in your mind. If you're intelligent on YouTube, you'd have to stop and play that out in your mind and try to make that make sense. You just couldn't, could you? You could never believe that Robin would say that, right? But you could believe Allie would say it, and has said it. And that there are more people. There were lots of people there that heard her say that. So, I don't know. It's such a frustrating thing because when you trek through this, trying to do it the way we should do it, you do find people that stick out like Allie. And it's such a fine line that you have to trek between exposing things that are going on and actually making a victim out of someone. And no one's perfect. I'm human. I'm very human. There are a lot of people on YouTube that are inhumane. But I'm very human. I'm very human. And I am subject to make mistakes. I am subject to comment on something incorrectly or in the incorrect light. I am capable of all the things everyone else is capable of. I just try to limit. I try to really limit what kind of stuff I can put on here because it's never going to be about Don and Candace. It's always going to be about someone else involved in the case that's doing something else that's going to make it impossible to get justice. People keep saying, oh, Benny, you're jealous of Chris. Man, what do I have to be jealous of? I have my youth. Why would I want to be that man? That is insane. I want to be no one else but me. I'm not going to enjoy a retirement off the back of some little girl who's missing her 3 brothers and her mom and dad. I am not jealous of a damn thing. People say, oh, people that are angry are jealous people. So do you mean to tell me that every single UFC fight or every single street fight or every single, boxing match you've ever watched, those are 2 jealous men going at each other to the death? That's insane. People that are pissed off are angry. And I get pissed off every single day, man. This YouTube is the source of immense stress. When you're empathetic, when you're an empath, it is reaching impossibility to come here and not be subjected to the pressures of wanting to victim bash someone into the ground. I'm going to switch gears now. So, Don and his sister, there's a lot of hubbub going on around about that. So, from what I understand, there's 3 years difference. I shouldn't even be talking about this, but I'm going to clear it up because of the understanding I have, right? If she says it started when she was 5, they're 3 years apart. He's the elder. That makes him 8. There aren't a lot of 8-year-olds running around involved in that type of activity. Hooah, right? So at 8, if someone is perpetrating those kinds of activities, at 8, it's safe to say that those activities were perpetrated on him, right? So in this weird, it's not even weird, in the psychological world of science, right? He only would have been playing out what he thought was normal that was being done to him. At 8 years old, you cannot fathom sex at 8 years old. And there's going to be people in here that say, you can't fathom the mechanics of sex at 8 years old. If you can, it's because you've been shown. Sorry, the camera cut out again. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I start to, I've thought about it a lot of times deeply too. And I'm like, coming on YouTube and doing this and dealing with all the negative people, it's so stressful, right? Like, I'll be honest with you, like, for people that are really vested in trying to make sure that victims are protected and guarded from the nasty, actually your quality of life, it lessens momentarily. There's a period in time when you're doing this stuff and the quality of your life goes down because you're just, you're just trying, you're fighting tooth and nail. You're trying to make sense of the insensible, the insensible and the nonsensical. You just can't, right? That's what it does to good people. You see good people that attach themselves to these cases and they're downtrodden. Look at Chasing Truth. Look at Mr. and Mrs. Cher, right? Like, it affects you. My good friend Lizzie, this shit affects you when you're yoked to the victims. Now, when you're not yoked to the victims, just take your pick. Go look. You're yoked to the money. Man, I don't care about, guess what, man? Through my hands and knowing that God will provide for the birds and the fish, I don't depend on YouTube for shit. YouTube does not pay me for the quality of life that I endure doing this stuff. It doesn't pay. There's no way it could pay. There's not enough money that I could be paid. People say, oh, you're just jealous of Chris's money. I'm not jealous of nobody's money. You want to know how you should be able to tell? If I were worried and jealous, I'd just switch and be like them, wouldn't I? Wouldn't I? I would. But there ain't enough money. There is not enough money out there to make me switch it up. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sell out. This never was about money, right? It's people that know the content creator's Cash App by heart. They don't even have to have sent to it. And that's okay. Donate to who you want, right? You don't know my Cash App. I have one, but it's for my personal life. I don't put it on here. Why? Because that's not what this is for. This isn't the shmoney dance. This is none of that. It doesn't make me feel good to take money offline when it's in between cases and things are just going good. I really have a hard time, so much so that I won't do it. Take money from people during a fucking pandemic while we're in inflation and we're in political uncertainty on the cusp of war all around the world. And for some fucking reason, I feel like I need to meddle in a fucking abduction case, fuck it up, and get paid great fucking money to do it. Fuck you mean.